All right, so y'all know how people always be saying that Christianity was forced on black slaves. I hate that argument because I feel like it kind of undermines what Christianity is in the first place. You have to believe for yourself in the God of the Bible. It's not something that someone can force on you. Now, someone could force you to go to church or mimic certain things or regurgitate certain information, but they can't make you believe that information. Anyway, so I'm reading this book called The Color of Compromise by Jamar Tisby. I'm not claiming to agree with everything written in this book. I haven't even finished the whole book, but he makes a few interesting points. He says, prior to the revivals of the mid-1700s, few enslaved Africans converted to Christianity. White enslavers feared that evangelizing would plant the troublesome seeds of liberation in the minds and hearts of their chattel. But Africans did not come to the American colonies devoid of spirituality. Many of them practiced the indigenous religions of tribes in West Africa, and a significant number were Muslim. Africans preferred their own form of faith to that of their white enslavers. That's already a lot to unpack right there, because it's saying, for one, a lot of white people did not even want to preach the gospel to black people because they thought it would incite an insurrection, kind of like in the cases of Nat Turner and John Brown and the Haitian Revolution. And then a lot of Africans was just like, we don't want y'all dusty, crusty Christian religion, or at least whatever form of Christianity they were presenting to them. They was like, yeah, it's a no for me, fam. So what changed? How did so many Africans and African Americans become Christians? The Great Awakening initiated the first significant number of conversions to Christianity among enslaved Africans in the colonies. Evangelical preachers, although European, pushed against the traditional customs of established denominations, including the segregation or exclusion of African people. Revivalists emphasized the spiritual equality of all people and preached to interracial crowds. They baptized anyone willing to accept Christ as their savior. Black people even became ordained ministers and missionaries. So in a nutshell, the first Great Awakening was the catalyst for the beginning of mass conversions of African slaves to Christianity. And the reason for that, he also talks about right here. He says, black people were attracted to revival preaching because it mirrored the familiar practices of West African religions. Full-throated singing, emotional expressiveness, and physical movement had cultural resonance with people of African descent. Christianity also held out to the hope of freedom. Enslaved people connected spiritual salvation with earthly liberation. They believed that spiritual equality might lead their white slave owners to see them as full human beings deserving of emancipation. So to reiterate what he just said, African slaves were attracted to the emotional aspect of Christianity that was presented during the Great Awakening. It wasn't something that was forced on them. They liked the idea of the possibility of freedom because of the gospel message, because the Bible does talk a lot about freedom and also about paying people that work for you, right? I said all that to say Christianity was not forced on black people no more than we can force Christianity on anyone today.